Well, alrighty then. Let's get this bloody report started so I can go on already. There's food in me on the table, and I want to get this going. Alright, the Mobile Healing Unit report. Midwinter 14356. I am Examiner Bregoff of Clan and Grimhull. The goal of this report is to explain my findings of the origins of the Red Death and identify patterns of growth, and finally to further investigate and to reveal my findings on the cure and other such methods. Let us begin with the origins of the disease. The first sighting of the sickness came to the city of Northgate in early spring 355. The town was established in 193 as a part of Theravan's reconstruction project after the Coalition War ran into a standstill. Northgate served as a fort against the dragons and then a refugee camp against the devils after they arrived back onto the earth in the year 300. The first infected man, the poor sod, by the name of Grillif Conberry, a half-elf who had recently escaped slavery under the Devil Kingdom of the Golden Scepter. He had served in my family's old hold by the name of Grimhold, now sadly called Goldfinder. He was supposedly a choice breeder, as the devils would say, or, in other words, he was a sex slave. He was destined to spend his days pumping out more of those abominations called Hellspawn for the King's Horde army. I want to be honest with you, I find a reason to believe that the devils, in all likelihood, infected the poor soul with the disease to kill as many of us as possible, which I must say worked. Let's get this straight. That being said, we can't not confirm or deny that, but it wouldn't surprise me. They're horrible little turds. Anyway, the symptoms of the disease. To defeat one's enemy, one must know one's enemy and be able to identify one's enemy. The symptoms of the aptly named Red Death may hold a solution to better control and prevent it. The Red Death appeared to come upon the victim quite suddenly, often after an exceptional period of increase in vigor and in energy. I can say with the utmost confidence that this may very well be a sign of an individual being with the disease, and may act as a warning sign for those who are sick. The unlucky infected, after that period of vigor, will begin to notice small red pimples form on their arms and face, which cause an itching feeling. Many have taken it upon themselves to pop these pimples, which seems to alleviate the itching and the pain, which we will be getting to shortly. The pimples will expand rapidly in width and in depth as their body becomes substantially weaker, barely able to get itself out of bed. Then, on the unfortunate victim will feel intense pain at the points where the pimples have manifested. Now, the people's veins will turn a dark red, and their entire body will take a pink hue to it as well. The body, during these several bouts of pain, will sweat profusely, and the person will become delirious. I have seen this round of insanity merely make someone's speech untenable, or mad ramblings, as if they were a bloody priest. Any attempt to question the person often leads to yelling and screaming with no such luck. Some Orphels have decided that this is a sign of the Allfather, and that they are seeing him or something along those lines. I find this logic to be nothing more than a big pile of rubbish. But who am I to tell you elves how your god is supposed to work? The victims often die within 3 days of the first pimple appearing. The spread of the disease. The disease first merely infected one man in Northgate and was nothing worthy of note. The new infection while reported to the capital, mostly fell upon deaf ears. A local cleric was sent forth to heal the man and gather information about this new infection. The cleric's name was Phelos Adethel, and he thought himself too noble and skilled to help one man in a small village of 40,000. He arrived at the town of Northgate in mid-spring 300 and found it completely empty. I should not say completely empty. He found a whole bunch of bodies there. His report counted upwards of 39,000 dead. He quickly filed his report, but at this point it was far too late. The cities of Westgate, Blueport, and Ulthenholme, and Deferrad had reported infections. The cities had 90% infection rate, and the governor of each of those cities were disabled, so no immediate action was able to be taken. The infection from early spring the 22nd, 355, and late spring, the 30th of 355, the population of the Flowering Plains, which was upwards of 50 million, was brought down to a mere 500,000. The infection reached the city of Amil, and with over 1 million citizens, it wiped out the entire city before the newly formed mobile healing unit could arrive. The castle town of Hyok completely closed itself off from the outside world at this point and refused to accept any communications ever since. The disease at this point had claimed over 90% of the population in any city it has visited. And those who did survived due to their knowledge of healing magic, which has been proven successful at treating the disease. Now I must make some suggestions on containment. The disease has been failed to be contained, and we have honestly failed to control it at all. With an estimated death toll of over 150 million, the government must consider the most severe containment options. We likely need to cut off all trade between the cities and activate martial law. Foods, rations, healing need to be prioritized to clerics, guards, and skilled workers to maintain stability for the realm once the disease is passed. The gates to all cities must be closed and all bodies must be burned, so that direct contact between the healthy and the sick can be avoided. If someone is identified as sick, they need to be taken away immediately and moved into a confined area. I do not recommend these places being temples. I would further recommend them being prisons, mainly because the temple is simply not suited at containment. However, all of this is unnecessary if a cure is found. Now on to my progress on the cure. In my family's history, there is a recorded an event. The Great Plague it is called, where a great pox-like sickness ripped through my clan's realm. My great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, King Tolephus, spent a year looking for a cure after his daughter died of the plague, only to discover a mushroom. A mushroom from our Creator, he said, and I began to look for this mushroom, and I believe I have found them. I am off to my homeland under the protection of Lord Ayres, personal guard of my loyal people. This is my last report before I head off home. Scribe Notes 377. Our good dwarf, cleric, Bragoff of Grimhall, has not been spotted since the posting of this report. The Red Death has killed an estimated 90% of our population. Theravan has ordered us pull back the surviving population to the capital of Hyok, regional capital of Hyok, and to the capital city itself. Hyok is the last surviving frontier structure that can be adequately manned. And the capital itself runs the risk of not being able to arm its own populace as well. We will be attempting to hold out against the demons who are on their way. Theravan seems quite calm and confident. Bragoff Grimhall left behind a son by the name of Balar Grimhall, who currently resides under the protection of Sir Gelding, a dwarf knight under Lord Eyre.